if I should bring viewers up to speed. On Thursday, after the pronouncement, Abuna West, the MP for School, the MP for Mena, who also is the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and the MP for MP West had all lost their seats because they had filed, and Mr. Speaker was fortified by the notice of poll from the Electoral Commission to the effect that these said MPs had filed their nominations to stand as independent for 3 of them, and for the case of the Fomena MP, who happens to be the sole independent candidate in the 8th Parliament, he was joining the NPP and standing on the ticket of the NPP for the Fomena constituency. And so Mr. Speaker fortified on this notice of poll from the Electoral Commission, and again based on the provisions made in Article 57 of the Constitution on what qualifies one or disqualifies one as an MP, he declared those seats vacant. When the Speaker made the ruling, the majority leader or leader of the NPP caucus stood to raise an objection, but later on, when tempers were running, he and his side decided to walk out of the chamber and said they are going to stay out of the proceedings, ensuing proceedings thereafter. And that is what they have done. And so this morning, their chief whip, Frank Anodonpre, and some of their members have been around ever since Parliament, the gates to the Grand Arena was opened at 8 a.m. They have been around. When the gates were open, the members of the NDC caucus, who now also say, based on Mr. Speaker's ruling, are the majority caucus in the House, they have occupied the majority side of the House, and so they have been sitting inside. Just a few of the NPP members were inside, but in a short while ago, we saw the entourage of NPP members led by their leader, Alexander Afeyomakin, who was the MP for Futu constituency. He came in with his deputy, Patricia PJ, MP for Asukwa, and some of their members, and granted a press conference to say that they feel they would rather stay silent in their offices and not join their colleagues. And he actually likened this to a theater, and he didn't want to be part of it, and so they rather stay in their offices and monitor proceedings. If the Speaker comes into the chamber and makes a ruling based on what he knows the Speaker has been served with, then they would know their way forward. And so we are expecting them to come back to the Accra International Conference Center, where Parliament is being held, because the chamber itself is under renovations. So from the
that means that in the next few minutes or next couple of hours, we are expecting the NPP caucus members to be back in the chamber, right? Now, do you remember what happened on January 7, 2021?
Yeah.
When the state parliament came into being? It was this same chaotic.
Yes, so the inauguration of the 8th Parliament at the stroke of midnight on January 7, 2021, the 8th Parliament constituted, which was presided initially over by the Clerk of Parliament, Cyril Otinsia, who had to coordinate the affairs of the House in the election of a Speaker. The contenders, the NDC caucus, based on their numbers, they were 137. The NPP caucus were 137, and we had an independent candidate who also came in the person of Andrew Amakwesiama, the member for Fomena. He decided to lie with the NPP in doing government business in the chamber, and so he sided with the NPP, and by virtue of that, the NPP became 100, the NPP caucus became 138, and so occupied the majority side of the House. In fact, when that happened, it was not clear who was going to be called majority, and so Mr. Speaker even noted that there is a majority group and there is a minority group, but along the line, the status quo, which is my majority caucus and minority caucus, stood. And so that is what we have had until Thursday, when the former minority leader and MP for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, he wrote a notice to the Speaker on his intention to move a motion for these seats to be declared vacant. Motion to the status of these 4 MPs, and noted that the matter before him was gratuitous, and so he pleaded with the House to give him 2 days to make a ruling on the matter. And based on that, from Tuesday on Thursday, Mr. Speaker came to make his ruling, and his ruling, as I indicated, was to declare those 4 seats vacant.
So there is another ruling from the court, the Supreme Court, and it was served just yesterday, and it has been confirmed by the NPP caucus leader, Mr. Alexander Abedomani.
Yes.
And for them, they are standing on the ruling of the Supreme Court, right?
Yes. So it's the Supreme Court bailiff who served the office of the Speaker and the Parliament itself about the ruling of the Supreme Court.
And according to the leader, the Speaker has received that.
Yes, so the leader in his presser noted that he knows the Speaker had taken delivery of the.
I also noticed something. Just opposite Accra International Conference Center, you see party members, party faithfuls.
Yeah.
A lot of them, many of them there, gathered there in support of what is happening in the chamber.
Yeah.
Now, I spoke with them earlier, and they said they've been directed by their leadership to come and give their support or their support to them while they are in the chamber. But now that the MPP caucus leader has left the chamber and is going towards their end, I believe he is going to address them. Because exactly that's exactly the direction that he went. Now we are also now waiting for the NPP caucus members, including their leadership, to come back to the chamber when proceedings. Now the security here is quite tight. You could see the police, we could see the military with their apparatus, and we could see the marshals of the house positioned well in case of any chaotic scene. They can take over and put things under control. Now the question now is, will history repeat itself? Because the same way this 8th Parliament began, in that chaotic environment, or in that chaotic nature, is being repeated this same year as they exit. So the question now is, will the 8th Parliament end the same way they entered or they commenced?
Well, we hope it doesn't. We hope it doesn't. But like they say, coming events cast their shadows. With the split in numbers and we having a hung parliament in itself, we expected that people will be will be a bit tense in analyzing issues, because we have virtually equal numbers in the House, and on a number of occasions, when it came to the passage of the e-levy bill and some critical votes in the House, we've seen the numbers coming to bear, and it's just characteristic because as a hung parliament and you have equal numbers, each fighting for the interests of their party and their people and for their own ideologies, you realize that definitely horns will be locked. You did also indicate, Rachel, about the acrimonious nature of the beginning of the 8th Parliament, where we saw a member even snatching a ballot paper and bolting away with it and all that. But I believe the House, in as much as it has become a hung parliament, this 8th Parliament too has built a lot of consensus. And we are praying that in matters like this, consensus will be built, because in as much as the House or this Parliament has just about 2 months to wrap up its work, ostensibly they really have just about 2 weeks remaining when it comes to sitting in the House. They came last week. We were told that they will sit for just about 3 weeks. In the course of the 3 weeks, we are expecting the EC to file a CI, to lay a CI in the House regarding the conduct of the election. Government presents a budget to last for the first quarter of the ensuing year, so that when a new government comes, the new finance minister will also come and present the budget to the House.
Now we can say that government business will suffer. In a way, one way or the other, it will be frustrated. The businesses of government will be frustrated.
It depends on how government plays its cards. Mm-hmm. The House is built on consensus. So if government can meet the opposition midway and jaw, because when it comes to this, it's a matter of jaw-jawing. Mm-hmm. At the least of it will be a matter of casting votes in any issue, especially even when it comes to the budget.
Like a secret ballot?
It might come to a secret ballot. That is if a voice vote is not determined by Mr. Speaker. Yeah. So we have a lot at stake in as much as they have this small period of time to operate. And so standoffs like this tends to be a bit worrying, because of these standoffs, debates that are supposed to be held, Parliament, for instance, is supposed to pass the EPA bill, 2024. The free SHS bill was supposed to be laid. We are expecting it to be laid. There is some tax waivers for 1D, 1F that is supposed to be had. All these are now pending because of a stalemate that we are witnessing now. Majority leader or leader of the NPP caucus, Alexander Afeyimakin, also indicated that they haven't had a pre-sitting meeting today. Every day before Parliament commences, Speaker of Parliament meets the leadership to go through the day's activity. They are yet to have that, and so I believe even at that pre-sitting meeting, some consensus would have to be brought to bear.
Now let's talk about the CI from the Electoral Commission that needs to be tabled. Now, per the Constitution, per what is stipulated in the Constitution, the House needs about 21 days.
21 sitting days, yes.
21 sitting days for that CI and be what to be passed,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
And now that they've already spent a week doing nothing, if I can say.
Well, the thing is that Parliament always says they are master of their own rules, and so even the majority leader indicated that if need be, they might have extended sittings, that is having other days sitting, the weekends and the Mondays, just to make sure that the 21 sitting days mature. And so all in all, we are hoping the Speaker commences the day's proceedings soon, and then we see how it plays out.
Okay, so from Parliament House
as they've just unfolded in Parliament. You're watching the live broadcast of the special 2 majority 1 speaker Parliament in Ghana, albeit a tightly hanged parliament with one king's man or kingmaker, the MP for Famina, Honorable Esiama, who is currently this morning. I will take a break from here, and when I come back, we'll see if the speaker has finally been able to make his way into the chamber and or even made his way to Parliament, where he will first of all meet the leadership of the House, and so that will be the leadership of both divides, and after which they will all come to the chamber and begin the day's sitting or transact the day's business. Stay with GBC News, and we will bring you up-to-the-minute news as it drops from Parliament. And we're going to go back there and bring you live updates as it unfolds. Stay with us.
Afimpinu eni edunu nine eye abatuo afi.
This year election, I am one of the best tension urban mupa.
Anu ntimi busaw emfi etwe mu no wo ye wadwen se wonto aba. Afi wo beto aba anase wonto aba.
Ni nyina ye Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, the vice president and the running mate for New Patriotic Party. Sasna former president John Dramani Mahama was say ohwe ebomode se obetimi asabedi Ghana.
Wonsom woni nipa wo ye oman bapa. Anu nti ene yesero se kan ye ho esanse yewura abatuo afim.
Nyina nim se Fourth Republic 1992 and JJ timi at the bar Fourth Republic. Fi wono NPP NDC at dominate up to this time. Now onim se NPP edi nkunim atoa so emfie du Asia 16 years. Sana NDC so aba 16 years. Eno na ma this year election no aye.
Ye ba beto aba. Eba ne sana ensam dodo na na ekoso efiti mfie bie etwam edekọ edibesi nne NPP amenyokuo enya sen afi NPP amenyokuo ebenya sen.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia say 8 years na JJ ekoye from the year 2000 no mampanyi dada akofo eba ye ono so di 8 years. Prof Mills eba ye fofi antwata na chese NDC sato so 8 years.
NDC eda sen NDC ebenya sen ahodo aka wo mu inada eka ho
under John Dramani Mahama enei nanado danko akofo ado Ghana mampanyi so abedi 80 NPP chese 8 years now. This is a time where was he breaking 8 because a Juma NPP ayen it's fata say ye toa NPP. John Dramani Mahama say NPP for buy no car no month me amfa nko ba bia e was still ano de Bawumia ntimi emfa nko nti and at the NDC led by former president John Dramani Mahama and in the running mate Jenana omo HSE omo betimi aba abeji Ghana efinkwasum ene NPP for HSE digital ewiase nyina be ekro baako enti digital no betimi dia transform Ghana ama enema nyina akoye nanso NDC kyerese omo so the 24-hour economy eba
na mo nsem ho se election head office ye de eba besom afimpinu eni eduonu nan
sanse bre no be fra to man Ghana mu se wa ma no ne ba bia wo bia modi se ubehwe ye brano
anu nti ewo dwumadie mu no ye beto nsa edi afre etitiriw enintinu ahemfo enne wo kwadre ewo amanyosem kire amanyosem a eya amanyosem wo nim di ewo na wo nso aba ba kire omadwene
ne etimide the current update from the various political party enema ekoso behind the scene ne nyina no ye de ba eti kame asuo ne kwabre de hie kwaku jamfi betimi afem Robert ne menua
oduma nkomoba nana Kofi from Ashanti gudi
and afei champion editors producers Bobby Stone and afei Eddie eboye chidom
abusua tikro enko ejina enu nti ene yesero se eduru ho a jebre na hweyen ebra ye de dwumadi atu ne din se election head office e de eba besomo
wo dwumadi yi so no ye be kɔ various market ahodo ne ne dwadifo akodi nkomo afa this coming election ehun
anu nti dwumadi mu no se opese wo so yasene a odawruma obetimi afre ahomatru
0549 3243 85 0549 3243 85 enti election head office pania kura to from wa ye de bebre
afimpinu eni eduonu nan eye abatuo afi.
This year election I am one of the best tension ebe mo pa
anu ntimi busaw emfi etwe mu no woyɛ wadwen sɛ wonto aba afi wobɛto aba anaasɛ wonto aba
ne nyinaa yɛ Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the vice president and the running mate for New Patriotic Party. Sasna former president John Dramani Mahama was say ɔhwɛ ɛbɔ mmɔden sɛ obetimi asabedi Ghana.
Wonsom wɔne nipa woyɛ ɔman bapa ɛno nti ɛne yɛsrɛw sɛ kan yɛ ho ɛsiane sɛ yɛwura abatoɔ afi mu.
Yɛnyina nim sɛ Fourth Republic 1992 ɛna JJ timi at the bar Fourth Republic. Fi wɔn NPP NDC a dominate up to this time. Na onim sɛ NPP edi nkunim atoa so emfie du esia 16 years. Saa na NDC so aba 16 years. Ɛno na ma this year election no aye.
Yɛba beto aba. Ɛba ne saa na ensam dodoɔ na ɛna ɛkɔ soɔ. Efiti mfie bie etwam ɛde kɔ ɛde besi nnɛ. NPP amenyokuo enya sɛn. Afi NPP amenyokuo ebenya sɛn.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kyɛ sɛ 8 years ɛna JJ ɛkɔɔyɛ from the year 2000 no mampanyi dada akofo ɛbaayɛ ɔno so di 8 years. Prof Mills ɛbaayɛ Fofi Antoata ɛna kyɛ sɛ NDC sa toa so 8 years.
NDC ɛda sɛn. NDC ebenya sɛn ahodo aka wo mu inada ɛka ho
under John Dramani Mahama enei Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo Ghana mampanyin so abedi 80 NPP kyerɛ sɛ 8 years no this is the time that was breaking 8 because adwuma NPP ayɛ no ɛsɛ fata sɛ yɛtoa NPP John Dramani Mahama kyerɛ sɛ NPP for bae no ka no ɔmantimi amfa nkɔ baabi a ɛwɔ sɛ stia no deɛ Bawumia ntimi ɛmfa nkɔ no ti ɛna the NDC led by former president John Dramani Mahama ɛne ne running mate Nana ɔmo ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔmo betimi aba abɛgye Ghana afin kwaso ene NPP for ɛkyerɛ sɛ digital ewiase nyinaa bɛ ekuro baako enti digital no betimi de transform Ghana ama nneɛma nyinaa akɔyie nanso NDC kyerɛ sɛ ɔmo so di 24-hour economy ɛba
na mo nsɛm ho sɛ election head office yɛde ɛba abɛsom afempinu ɛne aduonu nan
san sɛ brɛ no ebefra to ɔman Ghana mu sɛ wama no ne baabi a wɔ bia mɔde sɛ wobɛhwɛ yɛ brano
ɛno nti ɛwɔ dwumadie yi mu no yɛbɛto nsa ɛde afrɛ etitiriw enintinu ahemfo ɛne wɔn a kwadre ɛwɔ amanyɔsɛm mu kyerɛ amanyɔsɛm a ɛyɛ amanyɔsɛm wɔn a wɔn nim di ɛwɔ na wɔn nso aba abɛkyerɛ wɔn adwene
ne yɛtimi the current update from the various political party ɛnneɛma ɛkɔ soɔ nea deɛ ɛkɔ so behind the scene ne nyinaa no yɛde ba eti kame ɛsoɔ ne kwabere de hyɛ kwaku gyamfi betimi afɛm Robert ne minua
ɔduma nkɔmɔba nana kofi fɛm Asante Agudie
ɛna afei champion editors producers Bobby Stone ɛna afei edi ɛbɔ yɛ kyidɔm
abusua tikoro ɛnkɔ egyina ɛno nti ɛne yɛsrɛw sɛ ɛduru hɔ a gyebrɛ na hwɛ yɛn ɛberɛ a yɛde dwumadie ato no din sɛ election head office ɛde ɛba abɛsom
wɔ dwumadie yi so no yɛbɛkɔ various market ahodoɔ ne adwadifoɔ kɔdi nkɔmmɔ afa this coming election ɛho
ɛno nti dwumadie mu no sɛ wopɛ sɛ wosɔ yɛasene a ɔdaworoma wobɛtumi afrɛ ahomatorofo
0549 3243 85 0549 3243 85 enti election head office pania kura
afempinu ɛne aduonu nan ɛyɛ abatoɔ afe
this year election I am one of the best tension urban mopa
ɛno nti mebusaw ɛmfi atwa mu no woyɛ wadwen sɛ wonto aba afi wobɛto aba anaasɛ wonto aba
ne nyinaa yɛ Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the vice president and the running mate for New Patriotic Party. Sasna former president John Dramani Mahama was say ɔhwɛ ɛbɔ mmɔden sɛ obetimi asabedi Ghana
wɔnsom wɔne nipa woyɛ ɔman bapa ɛno nti ɛne yɛsrɛw sɛ kan yɛ ho ɛsiane sɛ yɛwura abatoɔ afe mu
yɛnyina nim sɛ Fourth Republic 1992 ɛna JJ timi at the bar Fourth Republic fi wɔn NPP NDC a dominate up to this time na onim sɛ NPP edi nkunim atoa so emfie du esia 16 years saa na NDC so aba 16 years